Okay, good evening. We're live right now, and I'm not sure how many people are viewing this right now. Am I audible? If I'm audible, please comment on the live chat. Okay, good evening. So today I'm gonna start the lesson about web scraping. This is a continuation lesson we had yesterday, and so I'm gonna quickly just sum up the. I need a confirmation on the audio. Am I audible? Okay, so I think I think it's time to begin now, and let's start with the PPT about web scraping. So web scraping is like the first step for a data scientist to learn. Uh, for a data scientist, it is easy to get any data set from websites like Kaggle, but one should know how to scrape his or her own data from the net. So the main agenda is agenda will be to learn BeautfulSoup, which is a library in build in Python. So we're gonna cover in depth BeautfulSoup in this lesson, and in the next session we'll cover Selenium, and finally we'll make a project which will through using Selenium, which is called like InstaBot. So stay tuned for that. So basic requirements will be basic coding knowledge of Python. You're gonna have to use Anaconda and Jupyter Notebook for all the coding part. The web browser, you can use anything from Google Chrome to Safari. So the basic introduction is, like, we all know that data is the new gold. Data science and analysis are the new gold miners then. And before scraping any website, we should always check its privacy policy, because some websites do not allow scraping, whereas some do. For example, if you go to Google and you try to scrape Google search results, then it's not going to allow you to do that. So it's basically it's just a technique to parse through the HTML of the web page and get the desired contents. So we can get large amount of data from scraping. We can create our own database, our own data frame, and which can be further used and manipulated using pandas and Numpy libraries. So the basic scraping rules are: we need to check the website's term and condition. We do not have to spam the website by making a lot of GET requests, because then it's going to recognize that we're a bot and it's not a human that is doing it, it's a piece of code. And you need to update your code from time to time as well, because the websites are dynamic and the HTML coding changes like day by day, every day. So we need to also update our code accordingly. So websites libraries which we're going to use are BeautfulSoup, Scrapy, and Selenium. In this particular lecture, we're going to use BeautfulSoup. So so this is the summary of web scraping. So we're going to go step by step. The first step is to find the URL. The second step is to make the HTTP request to fetch the HTML content. Then we will use BeautfulSoup to parse the HTML content. Then we will extract our desired information that we need for our project, and then we are just going to store it and use it for further analysis. So this is the introduction: load HTML, parse HTML, locate and extract the desired data. So my host Shagun covered most of the basic part in the previous seminar, but I'm going to give a quick recap of it so that those who have not seen don't find it hard to catch up. So today the websites that we're going to scrape are CERN's first web page. The first web page that was ever made, we're going to scrape that. Then for a more advanced project, we're gonna scrape the Hindu website and make our own data frame and our own CSV file of the news data basically. So let's get on with the code without any delay. Okay, so another reminder, I'm gonna zoom in so that it is easily visible, and whatever code I'm gonna write, I hope you all are also like using your laptops right now so that we can code along, and by the end of the session you have a proper CSV file that you yourself has scraped. So this is I would love if you guys also take part in this. So our aim today is gonna to scrape 50 articles from the Hindu and create a data frame along with a CSV file. So if you can scrape 50 articles, then you can easily upload that data on Kaggle through your account. So, but first I'm gonna start with the basics. The basics is like importing the library. So we're gonna import BS4 from So BS4 is the BeautfulSoup library, and request is used to fetch the HTML data from the website URL. Okay, my bad. It's from. So the URL that we're gonna first, get a quick recap is from the first web page that was ever created on the net. This is the World Wide Web. So we're gonna scrape this data. We're gonna copy the link. This is the URL. So we're gonna put it as URL and use that, and then we're gonna make a request, which is request. So we have made the get request to this URL, and if we see the response is 200, that means it is successful. So we're gonna get the HTML data from this URL, which is data.text. So if we check HTML data, you can see we got all the HTML coding, and then we can easily use it through okay, so we got the HTML coding. Now we're going to use BeautfulSoup to parse this HTML coding. So we're going to make an object of BeautfulSoup, and in that we're going to give it the HTML data, and because it's an HTML data, we're gonna use the HTML parser. So if we check the data, now it's in a better form, it's readable, and we can easily use this. So the basic commands are, if you want the header, you can use the h1. Then if you want the a tag, sorry, the p tag, wait, it's data.p.p. So here you can fetch the p tag as well. Okay, then from this h1 tag, if you just want the text, then you can use data.h1.string. So you got the World Wide Web without the HTML tags. Okay. So another important thing that we need to learn before going into the more advanced project is the find function. So using the find function, we can locate any tag that we want. So we're going to use find, and if we want the p tag, then we can easily find the p tag. And if there are multiple p tags in the HTML file, then we can use find all p, which will give us the list of all the p tags that are present, and this is returned as a list. So we can use its indexing to use the list. Okay, so I guess the basics are done, and if there are like if any new function comes up, I'll explain it there as well. So we can start with our Hindu news scraper. So here is our Hindu news scraper, and the URL that we're gonna use, we're just gonna Google Hindu News Archive. So when we search Hindu News Archive, we can see that we have like the list of all the months, and the along with the all the news along with the like months and the year. So we're gonna just randomly choose like November, and November 1st. So here, so as you can see that this is a link to the news, and these are the categories. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna scrape all of these articles, which are like 50 in total, and we're gonna make our own data frame from it. So to scrape these articles, we first need to make a GET request to this particular page. So we're gonna copy the URL, and then we're gonna make a GET request to this particular URL. So we're getting a response 200. That means it's a successful connection. So we're gonna use our BeautfulSoup parser now, which will call data B is equal to BeautfulSoup, and it says data.text because data.text because we need the HTML data. So, and the parser is HTML parser, so we'll call it HTML.parser. So as you can see, now we got the HTML content of the page, and it is huge because it's a pretty long page. And from this, we're gonna inspect the HTML code from the website, and then we can get our desired result. So if we need the the article link, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the options, and we're gonna inspect the element so that we know which HTML tag to pick up so that we can get the link. Okay, so this particular link is in, let's see, it's in the class archive list. And what about these? Okay, these are also in the class archive list. So in general, all the links are inside the class, which is archive list. So if we can fetch the class archive list, then we can work on the links. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find find all the classes which are archive list, and we're gonna name it as link. So if we see link right now, we can see that here is the link to the like the article, and this is the first article, this is the second article, and so on. So we need to go through this list and fetch the link from it. So for I in link, we're gonna first check, we're gonna print I, and if we see closely, it's inside the A tag. So we're gonna check A first. Okay. So as you can see, we got the A tags, and A tags have the links in them. And to like fetch the links from the A tag, we're gonna get the href tag, and okay, so here you go. So here is the list of all the articles that are present on that page, and we just got its link. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to each link one by one and fetch the content and the headline of the article. So, but first we're gonna append this to a list so that we can use it. We're gonna call it article link, and article link dot append, and we're gonna append basically this I. So here we go. Here's the article link. So as you can see, we got a list which has all the links. This is the first, second, third. So far so good. Now on to the second step. For that, now we're gonna go through these links one by one. So for news URL in articles link, so we're gonna fetch the link, first one, which is requests dot then we are gonna get a parser, which is BeautfulSoup. Data.text, comma, HTML parser. Okay. So the first step is to get the headlines of the news. So we're gonna go back to the website. We're gonna open this link. Okay, so we want this headline, and to fetch that, we're gonna first inspect the element and see which tag it's in. So it seems to be in the h1 tag, which has a class of title, as you can see here. Let's check again. Okay, so we're gonna fetch this, we're gonna copy this class. So it was in data, it was an h1 tag, right? So we're gonna write h1, and then we're gonna print the headline to see if we are doing it right. So it seems to be an error, which is okay. We forgot the get request here. So yeah. So here you go. You got so okay. Just to begin with, we're gonna limit our we're gonna limit our loop to just two elements. So the headline is in the h1 tag, and so if we call string on it, we got the headlines, and if we strip it, then we're gonna remove all the white spaces, the extra white spaces that this headline has. Okay, so far so good. So we're just gonna create an empty list and append the headline dot append. Okay, we're gonna name it something different. We're gonna name it title. Here we're gonna title dot append, and we want the headline, so we're gonna append the headline to this title. Okay, so for now I'm gonna comment this out so that we can move further. The second thing we want is the category of the news. So as you can see in this web page, each news has a category, and we want to fetch that category as well. So we're gonna inspect its element, and as you can see, it's in the class called section name, and so we're gonna fetch this section name to get the category. So we're gonna use the same process. We're gonna type of news is equal to data b dot find, and we need to find the class, which is section name. So here you go. Type of news is equal to class section name, and to check if we are right, we're gonna print type of news. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we got the desired part. We can see the type of news is in the A tag, and so we need to we need to go inside the A tag. So we're gonna write A dot in fact, if we just write string, I think that will work as well. Yes, that works. So type of news dot string dot strip will give us the category of news as well. So we can make an empty list, which we can call as like category, and append this to that list. Okay, so if you run once and we check category, so okay, our list category has now the like the category of the like the news. And now we can move on to the main part, which is the body of the news. So body of the okay, let's look where the body is, and we can inspect the element again, and okay, so we need the body, and if we inspect the element here, we can see that the body is, yeah, here. Okay, the body is in the content body, and then there is a long number with it. So generally what happens is whenever there's a number uh, like associated with the tag, it means that the number keeps changing, and so it is a dynamic number. It doesn't remain the same. So if you use this number once, the next time you're going to make a get request, it won't fetch, it might be possible that it won't fetch the news. So, but as you can see, the ID is content body, and now content body is a like alphabetical like word, and it won't change its value for like different news. So what we can do is we can create a function, and we can tell our code that the content that the body of the news will start with the tag content body, and then there's going to be a number. So we're going to copy, we're going to make a function and we can see that the content is in the div tag. So we're going to find the div tag and the ID. For ID, we're going to make a function which will like lambda x and x dot starts with, now the x is the ID. So here we are telling the function that the x starts with, and it starts with content body. Let's see if we're right. It starts with content body, and then there's a dash. So it's content body and dash. So I think this should do. So it's gonna find the tag with the ID content body in it, and so we're gonna print it out to check if like we're doing it right. So okay, the syntax is not right. Okay, the spelling is not right. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the body, we have the whole paragraph, and it's inside the p tags. Now every individual paragraph is inside a p tag. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get inside this p tag and get the text. So it's gonna be like text dot strip, because we don't need the white spaces. So if we do dot text dot strip, it will fetch just the content without the HTML tags and without the spaces. So that is exactly what we need. We need the body without the tags and without the spaces. And because we're okay, because the loop is running for like for 2 elements, this is the body, this is the paragraphs of for like two separate articles. So we're gonna make a new list which we can call as paragraph, and we're gonna append okay, so we're gonna append these paragraphs into our list. Okay, so if we check paragraph and 0th element, we get the whole content of the news article. And if we check the first element, here you go. This is the second second article we scraped. So far we got the title, the category, and the paragraph from the article. Okay, so if we check, so now we can like remove the restrictions on the loop. We can run the loop for as many articles as there are on the web page. So we're gonna remove this, and then we're gonna run the command. So now this might take some time, because it's gonna run for like 50 times, because there are 50 articles in it. So it's giving us an error. It says none type object has no attribute text. That means that one of the paragraphs or one of the articles does not have any body in it. So we need to take care of this exception. So we're gonna put a condition. So when we are fetching the paragraph, we're gonna say if it has a paragraph, only then fetch. So if body of news, then append, else we're gonna just append NA value. So NP. Okay, before using NP, we need to import Numpy as well. So I'm gonna import Numpy as NP and import pandas as PD. Okay, so okay, so we're good to go now, and if we run it again, I don't think there will be an error in it. Okay, it's still showing an error. It says none type object has no append. Oh, okay, by mistake okay, let's see. Oh no, okay, we have to append paragraph. Okay, so it has compiled now. So if we check the length of our title, it says 0. Okay, because we commented out the titles. So we need to run it again, it seems. And okay, let's run it again. And then we're gonna print the length of the title to check how many articles are there with us. We're gonna print the length of the category and the paragraph. Okay, 50. So we have the title of 50 articles now. We have the category of 50 articles as well as the paragraphs. So we have got our 3 columns that we started with. We needed the title, the category, and the paragraph. So now we can just create a data frame from these lists. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what these lists look like. Okay, so here's the title. So as you can see, it has the titles, and category has, here are the categories, and paragraph you already have seen. So now we're going to move to making the data frame. So our data set is going to have the data frame command, and we're going to decide our column names. So the first column is going to be the headline, and headline, the list for headline is title. Then the second column will be our body, and the list is paragraph. The third column is going to be topic. So, and our topics are inside the list called category. So if we run this, we get our data set that we just scraped. So as you can see, here is the complete data set that we just scraped from Hindu. These are the headlines. Okay, so these are the headlines of the 50 articles on the page of the year 2009, November 1st. So these are the news. This is the headline. This is the body, and these are the topics that they belong to. So we can. Okay. Now, because our data set, we have made our data set, so this is our own personal data that we have made according to our needs. So we can use this in our future projects, and through using similar code, we can scrape the desired data that we want. So different projects need different type of data, and we need to search the web to find this data. And when we do, we need a way to get a data frame out of it, so that for further analysis. So that's where we're going to use BeautfulSoup to do this. And in the end, we want a CSV file. So to create a CSV file from the dataset, it's a very simple command, and the data set, we're going to use the toCSV command. So the data set is going to be saved as a CSV. So here we go, dataset toCSV, and we're going to name it Hindu News Scraper .csv, and we're going to save it. So now our data, the CSV file has been made and it has been saved. So we can verify that by using this by like opening the CSV file. So it is DataFrame pd dot. So if we read CSV and we type in the name as Hindu new CSV, I think we're going to get the same database. Exactly. So here we get the same database that we just scraped, and it has been saved as a CSV file. So I hope some of you like understood. It can get a little complex at times, but overall it's not that difficult, and it's a fairly simple process. And if you know web scraping, then it can give like an edge to your data science skills, and you're gonna have advantage over others who cannot, fetch their own data. So once we have this CSV file, you can upload it anywhere you want. You can use it in any project you want, and that's I'm gonna end here. So like our first project is done. We scraped 50 articles from Hindu. We created a data frame and a CSV file. So so thank you guys for joining, and I hope we're gonna have more sessions.